Welcome back to Crazy Dave's Crew. I'm Laura and you're watching Thirsty Threads. Last episode we talked about the mason jars. Seeing as how it's fall and we're coming up on Thanksgiving, it's time for us to harvest and preserve all of the bounties. Well, while I was figuring out the math for the small ones, I was also working on a tall one. So it made my day when I had some comments about how you could make taller ones. And it was like, oh, hey, I anticipated what my viewers are wanting. So in this very short video, we are going to look at the math that I used to make the big one. So let's get started. So what we did the last time is I had a 5.5 by 5.5 inch square. Using my background color of white, I cut some 1.5 inch squares. And using a gray swirly for the can top, I used a 3.5 inch rectangle. And then I cut some background strips to fit the top and the sides. For the tall ones, I cut 12.5 inch rectangle. So it's 5.5 wide, 12.5 long. I'm still going to use my 3.5 inch jar lid, 1.5 inch squares, and then 1.5 inch strips of white. The process is going to be the same as with the small ones. So you can see I've already got one started here with my squares. I'm just going to cut this off. So just like my 5.5 inch square, I'm going to use the same method on the tall ones. So I've cut off my corners and I'm going to press those down just like I did on these. Okay? So far so good, right? We're just going to sew this to this. Just like the other ones, 1.5 by 5.5 inch background. I'm not going to show you all the sewing today, as I showed you a lot of that in the previous episode, part 1. So in just part 2, I just want to show you my dimensions and what I came up with. So I've got my little top, my background to go on the top, and we're just going to sew that down right there. And you know, the order of this is up to you. If you'd rather do your side first and then do your top, by all means. I chose this way of doing my little top strip, and then I'm going to do my side strip. Now what I need is a 1.5 by 14.5 inch strip. Like so. And I'm just going to sew that down there. Let's do that. We'll be right back. And there we go. And then I'm just going to attach it to these. You can have so much fun with these. So I'm going to show you some of the ones that I've gotten done. working on this one. What better thing to preserve than our freedom? Definitely something to be preserved and something to be thankful for. I'm just going to show you some of the fabrics. I got this one from Joann's. These I had in my stash. I said I think they're great. In going through my stash, I found this one. And this is one of my favorites. I think I bought it from Lana's quilt shop in, I think it's technically in Cleveland, Tennessee. And I've used this fabric in my pink strip quilt that I did earlier. And I didn't have a whole lot of it left, but again, I thought, you know, if we're preserving faith, be free from fear with our faith. This is definitely a Four Freedoms quilt. Because we're, you know, think about it, free from want. We're not hungry. Freedom of religion. I like the little coffee beans down here too. Again, I think these were gotten from Joann's. This is one I got from Walmart in their pre-cut section. Faith, Hope, and Love. Because hope is something to be preserved, and so is our love. So I found a lot of my fabrics. A lot of it in my stash. I'm thinking some of it came from Hancock's fabric. Not Hancock's of Paducah, but Hancock's, which is now out of business. And I've had this one for years. I used this one as water in my sailboat quilt. And I thought that looked pretty neat. I have some more sunflowers. I have my chocolates. And then in my stash I found, I thought this one was great, flowery peace signs. So peace is definitely something to be thankful for and to be preserved. And I've got some hearts somewhere in my little stack for wanting to preserve love. Those will just be little additions. You decide how you want to lay it out. This is exactly worth 2 completed. I hadn't been thinking. If I had been, so here's another one you could do. Anyway, if you don't want to add that top, this way it can look like they're stacked on top of each other. But I decided to just go with what I had, which is fine, and you can do that, or you can leave the top off so that it looks like they're stacked on top of each other if you want to make them be rows of a pantry. Have fun with it. My husband would definitely say I'm having too much fun, and that's okay. Getting ready for all the goodies at Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I think a few more, and I'm going to be ready to put this together. And I want to thank everyone for their comments and their suggestions. I am really excited about trying this into a Christmas ornament. A variety of different ways to do that. My husband even had an idea that we could make a geocaching, turning these into the lock boxes, ammo cans. Be real easy to turn them into the geocaching containers. So that's really neat. I'm going to be experimenting with all of that over the next week or two, and I can't wait to come back and show you what I've done with all the different variations. just from this pattern. Don't you love it when one pattern will do so much? It's awesome. And I also love the fact that 5.5 inch, this is a perfect design if you have charm packs. And by the way, this one I got from Walmart in their pre-cut section. So I just got a yard of the peppers. So that's pretty neat. I like that. Well, I hope this has been entertaining for you. I hope it's been interesting. I hope it's been inspiring. And keep those comments coming. Both my husband and I, y'all knocked off a brainstorm, and we got to talking and thinking and kind of tracing some things out. I've got my one son working on a new logo just for Thursday Threads. I can't wait till he gets that finished and show you. He's a pretty talented little guy. Not so little anymore. He's 17. Bigger than I am now, you know. I always said I couldn't wait until they were tall enough so I could have to look up and wag my finger. That's what my mother had to do with my older brother. I remember being in I think it was a Kroger store, and he had done something. And she was looking up at him, wagging her finger, and of course everyone around was laughing. I remember I was laughing too. And I'm a whole lot shorter than she was. Yeah, none of my little kids are very little anymore. They're all growing up way too fast. And some days not fast enough. But most days, way too fast. Like I said, this is a great project. This is a great pattern. It is very versatile. I love it when I'm doing these and everything just fits perfectly. That's really great. Always better to have too much than too little. You can always cut it off. You can't add more on. Well, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having a good week. Hope you found inspiration. I hope you will give inspiration. Keep those comments coming. We love them. So like, subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified of the next video. Coming up, I said we're going to be looking at lots of different variations, and I can't wait to get that. In fact, I've messed up my sewing area pulling fabrics. My husband comes in and he kind of rolls his eye and walks back out again. But half the fun is finding all the fabrics, you know? Petting your fabric and getting it ready. So don't forget to come back. And we will see you next time on Crazy Dave's Crew. Thank you so much for watching.